Woo. Okay, guys, I just came back from a special screening of Doctor Strange where they showed like 20 to 25 minutes of the footage. I'm not really big on seeing kind of like these advanced like little sneak peeks. I just kind of want to go into the movie fresh. I really don't want to have anything spoiled for me. But I tell you this, they had this presentation in 3D and the TheTurtleDork was not overselling this at all. The 3D looks freaking amazing. So just to give you a little glimpse of the footage, it was about 25 minutes. We open up with a conversation between him and Rachel, between Doctor Strange and Rachel McAdams' character at the hospital. And then he's talking about going to some event. And basically, Rachel McAdams is talking to him about his selfishness, how he's kind of like really caught up into himself. He's in the car driving, going to this event, and we get to see the crash. So once the crash goes, it cuts to, and the crash is pretty freaking brutal. They spare no expense in showing you how brutal this car crash is, and how his hands get injured in this crash. So then we cut, and then we go to Tibet, where he meets up with the Ancient One. So we kind of have the scene that we've kind of talked about before, that we saw that we got the exclusive look at San Diego Comic-Con. But it still hits those comedic beats when we get to see him go into the astral plane. Now when he goes into the astral plane, that's when you start to see the 3D really on display in this presentation. The 3D looks magnificent. When you see him in space, when you see him kind of go through all these little different dimensions. You talked about the microverse in Ant-Man. You get something similar to that, but it's heightened to level 10 with this. And I mean, just the texture, the colors, everything that you see is just, it's just incredible. Like, I literally was in awe. So after we get that, after we get him coming back from the astral plane, and he has that famous line that we've seen from the trailer where he says, "Teach me." Then we get into some of the training that he does with the Ancient One. So this becomes like a little bit of a montage sequence, but then we get another segment when we get introduced to Mads Mikkelsen's character. And then it's just beat after beat, and then they really do show you the display of the 3D and how this 3D is used. There's elements in this where it feels like he's kind of going down and through like some kaleidoscope type of wormhole, and and the depth that's in the screen, going from the screen in all the way down, kind of like this tunnel, this wormhole tunnel. It's incredible. And then when you see that famous shot in the trailer when you're in the city, when you're in New York City, and it starts to kind of fold and open up, seeing that in 3D, and then also seeing bits and pieces of that sequences when he's kind of I believe he looks like he's running from Mads Mikkelsen's character, and they kind of use it's almost like a teleportation kind of like wormhole, and how that's used, and how they flip the world on itself to kind of make it almost Inception-like. And I want to be careful not to really compare this to Inception, because it's nothing like that. But there are elements where you feel like the world that they live in is really kind of turning and flipping on its head, and physically that affects them, and kind of like with them and their gravity. But I tell you, just everything looked amazing. There was one also sequence too where Mads Mikkelsen attacks Doctor Strange and he freezes time, and then Baron Mordo is standing next to him, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he says something to the effect of like, reverse it, and then you see him reversing time and seeing everything kind of flip back. After seeing this presentation, I cannot wait to see this film. I was joking with Darren, telling him like, I'm glad I saw this less than a month out from the movie being released, because now I am freaking ecstatic about this movie. And not just ecstatic, but just seeing this movie in the way that it feels like Scott Derrickson really wanted this movie to be seen. I'm going to try to put this video together real soon so you guys can kind of enjoy and see what I'm talking about. See me rambling on and on. But again, these are just my initial thoughts and my initial reactions. But yeah, Doctor Strange, November 4th. I know all you guys are going to see it, but I cannot, it is not being, I cannot overstate this enough. You have to see this film in 3D. This is the way Scott Derrickson intended for it to be seen, and to get the full experience of this film, I know now that it needs to be seen in 3D. So with that, I am the Turtle Dork, 1/4 of the the ItMod crew. You can also follow my other dorks at the Disco Dork, at Mouth Dork, and at Sidewalk Siren. And so with that, I'm out.